18.
Wait for the lady to walk past.
Yep. Three, two, one, go.
Hi guys, welcome back to All Terrain Action. This is a three-part series discussing the difference between the stock Adventra, a slightly lifted Adventra, and the off-road beast over there. So the first part of this series, guys, we are going to do a drive test in our stock Adventra and discuss the differences between a Commodore and an Adventra. Grab yourself some beer, guys, sit back and enjoy. Let's get into it. Alright guys, so this is a stock Adventra we've recently acquired. Now we got this with the intention of disassembling it for parts to fix up a few things on the other cars, and so we've got spare parts available for when things break while we're out on the track. The biggest difference between the off-road Adventra and a stock standard Adventra is the fuel economy. Now in a stock Adventra, you get about 11.5 litres per 100 in mixed driving conditions. With our off-road Adventras, they usually sit up around about the 14 mark in mixed driving conditions. Now the biggest reason for that is, unlike the stock Addy, they've been lifted, they've got bigger wheels, and in the blue car's case it has a roof rack and a nudge bar as well, and this all adds drag to the vehicle. And while that doesn't add a lot, it is enough that it all adds up to create an extra couple of litres per 100 on fuel usage. The other main difference you'll notice between the off-road Addy that we have and the way we've geared it up versus the stock Adventra is the road noise. Now, you would have seen some of our videos, especially some of the highway footage. It can be a little bit noisier in the cab. Now the main reason for that is the bigger wheels do make a lot more road noise, and the roof rack. In the Blue Addy, the roof rack generates a lot of wind noise up here at the sunroof. Just trying to move on, there's always some idiot that has to do it. There you go for it. There's always some dickhead who's got to be doing over the speed limit. Like, come on, it's 100. Whatever, mate. Just fuck off. One of the misconceptions we've actually faced with doing our off-road videos, guys, is that this is a Commodore. Alright? So we're just going to kind of clear that up today. This is not a Commodore. It is an Adventra, and there are some very big key differences between the two. But let's start with the interior. So interior wise, you're not really going to notice that much of a difference. Alright, so the interior in the Adventra is very similar to a luxury range Commodore, like a Calais or any of the higher luxury tier models, with the notable exceptions of we have some pod gauges up here, and that's unique to the Adventra. We also have buttons down here for the hill descent control, ESP, and a few other things like that, power windows. They're all standard in the luxury range Commodores, but the hill descent control is unique to this vehicle. The other thing that makes this primarily the biggest difference is the Crosstrac system, and that's not really the biggest difference, and it's all-wheel drive.
They're the two biggest differences between Crosstrac and all-wheel drive.
The two biggest differences between a normal Commodore and the Adventra is this is all-wheel drive and it has the Crosstrac system. Now, in a moment I'll switch over to you. Jesus Christ. Just try not to run over all the lights. The good thing about Adventra is lights are for pussies. Watch this.
I wasn't sure if you were actually driving with me. You just tripped there for a second. I'm like, hang on.
Oh, that sums up for the interior, guys. So let's cut over to Chris, and he's going to cover the more technical aspects of the drivetrain and the biggest difference between the Adventra and a standard Commodore. Is once we've washed the car, let's duck over there.
Yep.
To the minor 10 car park. because it's always empty at this corner here.
Yep.
We can park the car, we can just back it up there with the freeway behind it, all the grass and seats and the freeway.
We'll just take some like nice photos of.
And then we can talk about it.
Great.
Yeah. There's always one weirdo. Now what we do is we find the windscreen wiper button. Hey, bros. Hey, bros. You missed the spot. You missed the spot. Wax on, wax on, wax off, wax on, wax off. I'm not bored at all. No, no. Soap everywhere. So much soap everywhere. Ah. Look, it's to do with the freaky head. I told you. Look at his head. The freaking
Got
honk.
5 minutes left on the time, so it's pre-charged.
What are you gonna do?
Oh well.
As I was saying, Concorde coming into land wheel on your nose.
Never know,
He's got big nose.
might get a bit of reception from it too. FM and AM radio. Also comes with 40 CV channels.
Sorry?
Not good enough for the 80 though.
Will's nose.
Okay.
Alright, look at the size of that schnoz. Be great if you had a drug out there.
What the hell is going on here?
I actually,
Yeah, send us on that front car park.
I just thought about that video you took out, I think it was at Time Out, where you got one wheel up and you activated the Crosstrac.
Mm. It's a bit out of our 25-kilometre radius.
Yeah. I can go there.
We'll get there about tonight.
I'm thinking that might be a good little scene to while you're explaining the Crosstrac.
Do you want to do the off-road one there? Is that what you're saying? I can.
When you're sort of explaining the Crosstrac, you can actually give a visual representation of it.
Actually, if you go straight here, there's an industrial section just up here on the left.
Yeah, I was actually just thinking that.
You might be able to turn down there and go into there. Yeah, that looks good. I mean, you've got a bin, but what can you do?
Let's park in front of the container.
Yeah. Yeah, it's fine.
Let's go up the grass.
Yeah, I guess so. Well, what do you want to say here? Like, oh, these guys.
Yeah, I have to wait for these guys.
What's going on here? Right here, right here. Stop. Yeah. Perfect.
Alright.
That was very, very difficult to organise.
Alright guys, let's get Chris in now to talk over the technical parts of the Adventra. Starting with the motor.
Alright, well, as you see here, this is a V6 variant Adventra. The motor is pretty much identical to your Commodore, bar the bottom sump, which is where the front diff sits. That has to be interchanged if you swap the motors between Commodore variant. The ABS unit's a little bit different. That's what all the Crosstrac little smarts to make this car get a bit of traction when it's off-road. The rest of it, yeah, very much the same. So moving on to the front, that's where the things begin to get a little bit different. You'll notice on the Adventra, you get these little black guards, and it runs all the way around the vehicle, as you can see. Compared to a Commodore, that's how they stand out different. So if you're ever driving past one, if it's got the guards, you know it's an all-wheel drive variant. The front lights, the VZ, so basically front lights, VZ, cross compatible. You can swap them between Commodore and Adventra, they're the same. The fog lights, I think, are also the same. It's just a shape and small little differences, like things wouldn't line up perfectly if you swap the guards from a Commodore. Coming onto the side, all Adventras come standard with 17-inch alloys. This, I think the standard size is 225 55 17, which gives you a rolling of around about 26.7 inches, and that's standard height, so you can have an idea what the Adventra kind of looked like when it comes out. I would actually say this is a little bit lower than normal because this car's got 300,000 Ks on it, and everything's kind of would have settled quite a majority. But as standard, these come with 200mm of ground clearance. Okay, and to give you an idea, Toyota Prado that comes out this currently would be about 219. So that's give you, an idea of comparison. The 2006 model doesn't come with heated mirrors, guys, but the 2005 one did, and I don't know why Holden pulled it, but it's actually a very handy feature. So, it's something that if you're looking between an 05 and 06, I'd actually go an 05 because you get the heated mirrors. Over to the back, the Adventra is quite different. So, in the sense of how it looks, like the tail lights you can't swap them between the models. So, for example, you can't get a Commodore and put a Commodore tail light into Adventra, and you can't swap them back, vice versa. They are just different in the shape of how it comes to the tailgate. Now, I've heard that if you actually swap the entire tailgate out with the Commodore, you can fit them. I don't know how it lines up with the body kit and everything like that, but that's kind of how similar they are. I actually think they use a Commodore chassis and even like the build to the point where they start putting body kits on, which makes them different. The tailgate's a little bit different too. I think the window is larger too. So this window here has a larger space, and they would have had to do that to have something to do with the way they can open and close like that. You got your reverse lights in the tailgate as opposed to in the tail light in the Commodores. That's right, the cargo. Something you don't get on the Commodores up the top here, guys. In the LX models in the Adventras, you get these little tie downs. Now, I actually think these are really, really good for putting, you could probably put a spare tire up here. We did for quite a while, I remember. And these actually support 25 kilo anchor points per corner. We never had a problem with our tire, but currently with my roof rack on this, I actually bolt the tire down to these through the roof rack, which holds the roof rack down because I don't quite trust it off-road. But I actually don't know how these are clipped on. Don't know if they're bolted in, but I've never had ours come off doing it that way. The inside of the Adventra is a little bit different too compared to the standard Commodore wagon. You've got your 60-40 folding, so I'll put them down to give you an idea of space. But it's basically standard Commodore at this point. And that everything folds down nice and flat. And you get your little compartments that Holden put in.
It was just, because I'm not sure for my reference, was this standard?
Yes.
So this was a standard edition?
It was an option, I think, actually. I don't know if it's standard, but it might have been an option. It was designed to so you could put your shopping and stuff in and it not be able to be seen what's under there, and probably protection against sun.
It'd almost be alright for camping. If you put your head up here.
Yeah, look, if you didn't want sun in your face, pretend to it. But you don't see many of those around anymore.
No.
I think we've got two, yeah, we've got two in total. The other thing about these, you get the premium sound system, so you got the 10-inch subwoofer, which has a standard amp hidden up behind in here. Got a little compartment over here. You've also got your 12-volt SIGGI socket over there. You do about 100 to 120 watts. The wiring behind there is actually not too bad. Like, I've plugged in a lot of stuff that probably exceeded 120 watts and it didn't cook anything or blow a fuse. So, I would recommend if you get one, you're going to mod it, open all this up and just run the wiring down, put an Anderson plug over here and use stuff off that instead. We've never really had a problem using the standard wiring that's behind there. I actually think it's rated, I think the fuse is possibly 20 amps. at the front, so I think they might have used a bit of thicker gauge wiring to the back. As you can see, more aluminium bits, as I was saying. If you see the black and aluminium bits, you know it's an all-wheel drive. This side's no different to the other. I don't think, like when you look at an Adventra, I don't think there's really much difference in the interior in terms of comparing to like a Calais. So, I mean, I know Wal, you explained this before. I mean, if you look from this point of view, this is what you would expect to see if you open a sedan Calais. This is going to be almost identical, minus the pod gauges. You get the leather seats
and the little hill descent control button.
Yeah, and the hill descent control button. You get the leather seats. You get the passenger and driver side electronic 8-way seat control. Obviously power windows, air conditioning. You get cruise control. All the wrapping is very similar. So like if you look at the trim and the wrapping, it looks similar. Just get an Adventra badge. And I think the space and everything, most things here are interchangeable with the Commodore. Even this, you know, the door trim, the interior of the door trim. I haven't actually had to change much of this, but from what I hear, that it's all pretty much the same stuff. Once you pull the inside out, the rest of it's the same inside. It's just the driveline underneath. So the biggest difference between the Commodore and the Adventra wagon is the all-wheel drive system, and combined with the all-wheel drive system is the Crosstrac. Now that was earlier on I showed you about the ABS unit. Now there's a little bit of smarts in this vehicle, which where any wheel starts spinning, the Crosstrac will actually brake the wheel to try and move power around the axles to get traction and move the vehicle forward. Now any traditional all-wheel drive, whenever you lose traction on one wheel, that wheel will just spin because you have open differentials across the whole vehicle and nothing to really control where the power needs to go other than what's happening in the environment on the track. I think the Adventra was really made for outback conditions in Australia where the road's not so flat. You know, you get a little bit of up and down on the sides, and occasionally you lose a little bit of grip on one side. It can account for braking the wheel with slip, moving the power to the wheel that's got traction on the ground. Now we've come a long way with these Adventras, and I want to also show you guys the difference that you get out of an Adventra when you modify them. But a lot of things I'm finding with people is they actually don't understand how an Adventra works, and this video is kind of put together to give you the basics. I just also remembered one major other thing. This all-wheel drive is also different in the fact that it has a torque split in the middle, and it delivers 62% power at the back and 38% power at the front. I don't think that that's actually a bad thing. I found that gives the Adventra still a rear-wheel driving profile when you're on the road, and even when you're on the loose stuff, which is a little bit of fun. It's good to have a little bit of fun. So that pretty much sums it up for an Adventra. I can't think of anything else that I've left out.
I can. It's one thing that you'll always know that'll, well, it's one thing that'll always identify an Adventra. The crack in this stupid plastic.
Yeah, they're always cracked there, don't know why.
Every Adventra we've ever seen is always cracked in at least one spot on that plastic piece. On the left-hand door, generally.
Yeah, I don't know why. He's right. It's always cracked here, or
in the middle.
Or in the middle here. It's just bizarre.
Alright guys, this is the end of our standard Adventra summary. Now we are going to move on in the next video in the series to covering a basic modded Adventra, which is mine, and then the third part of this series will be covering Chris's heavily modified Adventra. So stay tuned guys for the next part of the series coming up. Make sure you subscribe and like this video. Also don't forget to hit the little notification bell so you get notified when the next part of the series goes up. Anyway, I'm Walter, this was Also in Action. Thanks very much for watching guys, we'll see you next time.